10 columns made. Welcome to Writer's Reading. This program is brought to you as a public service presentation of WPRG TV5, Harold, Kentucky. We're very excited to be back on the air this season, and today I have some special guests, people that I've worked with for quite a while on some literary projects, and I'd like to introduce them to you now. The first one is Dr. Mark Sohn. Mark, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ernestine. It's really a pleasure to be here.
Next is Eugene Sisco.
Hi.
Eugene, how are you doing this morning?
Oh, I'm doing fine.
All
Just
right.
glad to be here. It's a little early, but I think we'll get right into it.
And next we have Chessie Cornette. Chessie, say this for Pamela.
Yes, and it's good to be here, Ernestine. It's a new adventure for me.
Well, today I'd like to talk about some of the things we've been doing. First of all, Mark here beside me is a publisher. The name of his company is M.F. Sohn Publications. And Mark, could you tell us a little bit about your company, how long you've been doing this, and what your goals are, where you plan to go with it?
Sure. Thanks, Ernestine. I think that's a real compliment to have it called a company, because I actually don't think of it that way. I think of it more as a hobby than as a company. But the four of us that are here today have been working together to bring some of our work to people that are interested. The first book I published was Education for Appalachia's Central Highlands back in 1986. And that was a book that was primarily done for my students at Pikeville College. It was done in connection with an Appalachian education course that I was teaching at Pikeville College. And then since then, I did a book for you, for Ernestine, and did one with Eugene and one with Chessie. I actually don't do these books myself. The people that are here do them themselves. They write them and lay them out, and all I have done is to provide an ISBN and a printer. So my role has been rather limited. One thing that a publisher is supposed to do is sell books, and I don't do that. So I've relied on the authors who are here with us, who are here this morning, to play the primary role in writing and laying out and selling their books, and I've just helped a little bit.
Well, do you want to start with your books and tell us something about, show your books and tell us something about them?
Well,
The ones that you've done yourself?
Ernestine, I'm always delighted to talk about my books. Nothing can make me happier. So sure, I want to start out with this book here. This book is Education for this is well, this is I'm all messed up. Psychology for Parents and Teachers, and whoops! Oh, there we go. I didn't know which one was on the camera. Psychology for Parents and Teachers is a compilation of some of the topics in psychology that have interested me the most over the years. I teach psychology at Pikeville College, and if it weren't for Pikeville College, I wouldn't be doing many of the things I do. But one of them is this. This is a book that relates to how to teach and how to parent. And so then you want me just to go through the other books and comment on them?
Okay, let me ask you something about this one.
Okay.
Is this book used at the college?
Yeah. Right now I'm teaching 3 sections of general psychology, and so most of my students use this book. It's used at Pikeville College in general psychology and some of my other courses. I'm the teacher that uses it.
Okay, yeah, just tell us about the other ones.
The other books that we published then, Eugene Sisco is here with us this morning, and this is his book called Looking In. There we go. Now we need to get the whole thing in there. There we go.
Okay, maybe Eugene would like to tell us about that one.
Well, all right.
There we go.
What we did with this book was I'd had the idea for some time just to get together some of the old things that I had with the newspaper columns and whatnot. And you got that?
There we go.
All right.
Put it right over here.
Okay, with newspaper columns and things of this sort, and just try to get them together some of them are humorous, some you might want to say kind of thought-provoking, political in nature. But mostly I just wanted to try to get some things together so that maybe my son, who's just now starting to read, actually, he tickled me because he read a couple stories out of that for some of his class work. And he's a very good reader, so I was kind of flattered that he would pick my book to read in class.
So this is a collection that, how long did it take you to put this together?
Well, it was in the making, I've been writing for years, since I've been maybe 17. And some of these things showed up as a part of a column in one of the local newspapers where I lived called the Martin County. And it's just really a matter of putting things together. Probably there's 5-6 years worth of material there. It took me maybe 3 to 4 months to put it all together and package it. But I think that's, well, when did we put that out, Mark?
2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
It's about 2 or 3 years. This book has been out about 2 or 3 years.
I've got another project or two in the work right now, so not that this is history or anything, but it's still nice to look at, and I enjoy it, but I want to move on to something else.
I know you said before this was good bathroom reading.
Yeah, well, I was going to say that. I call it good toilet reading. You know, it's something you can take and sit down for 5 minutes and put it away and feel like you haven't lost anything when you pick it back up. So
you'd say everybody should have one of these in their bathroom?
I think so. In fact, that's the highest compliment I think I receive is when someone says it made it to my bathroom. I'm always tickled at that.
Right, because these are short pieces that a person could pick up and read.
Exactly.
And put it back down.
Right.
And go on to something else.
Right.
When you're finished in the bathroom.
Exactly.
Well, you talked about your son liking it. Now, my son is 13, and he enjoyed it. He took it to school for several days, so he would have it to read when he didn't have anything else to do.
Yeah.
So it's spare time reading, I guess.
Well, good. It always tickles me.
So that book is Looking In by Eugene Sisco. There we go. Well, then I have 2 other books that I want to talk about. I'd like to talk about Down Mare Creek Road. We have with us this morning Chessie Cornette, who wrote Down Mare Creek Road. And, Whoops. Oh, boy, I messed that up. No. I want to do Chessie's book, and then we'll come back to Down Mare Creek Road. Chessie Cornette. I guess I'm the one. I'm not nervous, but I'm sure I'm so relaxed I'm messing up. Here we go. Famine in the Valley by Chessie Cornette. And well, Chessie, you want to say a few words about this book? How did it come about?
Well, I had a lot of help from a lot of people. I would say probably that was one thing. Actually, I began some of these stories in my mind years ago. And then a writing course that I took from famous schools in Connecticut, I wrote most of those stories in one form or the other for that particular class. And the first story in there, where the book gets its title, of Famine in the Valley, this goes back to the days when I lived in Myra, Kentucky. And actually, it's an accumulation of events, things that happened to my family. And, of course, we moved from there down to Pikeville then, where I received my education. But a lot of these stories are based on things that happened there, especially the first story.
Things that happened up at Monroe.
That's right. And then the other stories are from school experiences, teaching in Floyd County. Some of them are based on experiences there. But I did not, you could not tell by reading the story who it was about.
Right. Huh. So that's A Famine in the Valley by
Yes.
Chessie Cornette. And, well, can I read just a paragraph or 2 out of here? Would that be all right?
That's fun.
I'm going to open up to the very first chapter, the first paragraph of this book. It's around Myra, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, well, Myra's in Pike County. And let me read here. Irene Wright pulled her old Chevy over to the side of the road on High Knob Mountain to take a long look at the place of her birth before descending to the long, narrow valley which nestled between 2 tall mountains. The valley was still there. She had changed, and she wondered if it had changed too. A ribbon of a stream meandered near one large mountain past small bare shacks and modest homes. A gentle mixture of locust bloom and pine drifted up to where she stood. So that's the opening of A Famine in the Valley, and there's a picture here that I'd like to show. It's the picture, and maybe we could come in on this picture. There we go. There. Now that's the Stony Fork Church, which is featured in this. And this is the Valley Church, Stony Fork, is located at Beefhide Creek in Pike County. It was established in 1870 by the regular Baptists. And so that's from Beefhide. So that book again is Chessie Cornette's Famine in the Valley, and for me it was a real pleasure to work with Chessie. Chessie has these books around for sale, and they represent a good piece of her life, and that's why I was pleased to work on it with her.
I read that book, Chessie, and I loved it.
Thank
There's one complaint I have, it just didn't go on long enough. I wanted to find out more about the girl.
Most people in the first one, the novelist, said, "Why don't you continue it?"
That's what I thought.
To find out more about the girl. Maybe you have another book to write here, Chessie. Yeah.
If the years will let me do it.
If the years will let you do it.
A Famine in the Valley, too.
Yeah, right. Well, I think this is the last one. I do have one other little cookbook I'll talk about, but I want to talk about Down Mayor Creek Road, which is Ernestine Collins and Mead's book, and this is a book of poetry. I guess it's our most recent book. Is that right, Ernestine? And tell us about that cover there.
My son drew that. We had several drawings, and you and I decided to put that one on the cover. I was trying to find somebody to do a cover, and he said, "Mom, you don't have to go out of the family. I'll do it." So he did.
So, and what is Down Mayor Creek Road mean?
Okay, Down Mare Creek Road, the title came from the fact that I'm from Mare Creek. And there's a poem in there called Down Mare Creek Road, and I had to choose something, so I thought that would be good. Because I'm proud of where I'm from, of course. And
well, and I think that it's representative of the kind of book that I have been working with, which is a regional book. In other words, all of our books are, I live in Pikeville, and all the books that I've published have been people that, like Chessie and Eugene, myself and you, that are right from Pikeville here. And so the book, the material is of our area and from our area. And so this is Mare Creek, which is in Floyd County, real close by.
let me have it and I'll read a poem.
Okay, great.
So I can
Well, we've
find
got enough
something.
copies here, we can all read it. We can all have one. Oh, no, I didn't bring a bunch of yearbooks.
This is a cute little poem that I wrote to my daughter when she was being a little bit too uncontrollable. And she got mad, and I had to write a nice poem about her after that. But this is called To My Wild Bronco. You're a wild, unbroken bronco, but I'm a bronco buster, and my hand is firmly holding to your noose. You can snort and kick and buck with all the strength that you can muster, but don't expect to ever shake me loose. I will ride you day and night until I break your stubborn temper, and soon you will forget that I am there. You will learn to do what's right and bear my weight without a whimper, and then you'll understand how much I care. I think those of us who have children can relate to that.
Definitely.
Yep, that's good. That's good.
Okay, Mark.
Well, Ernestine, where would you like to go with this? This is your show, and
Where would I
you
like to
wanna,
go with the book?
well, that's a good question. Where do you want to go with your poetry?
Well, I'm working on more poetry, of course, all the time. And I just probably like to have another poetry book someday within the next 5 years. And also, I'm writing some short anecdotes, kind of like Eugene's, that I'd like to get published someday.
Well, I think once you start writing, you begin to enjoy it. I think that's the thing about all four of us. We all write. Eugene, more than anybody, I think Eugene constantly has 3 or 4 new projects going on.
Yeah.
But we all have something going on. Chessie's been writing for the newspaper, right?
Yeah.
And Eugene has some book projects going on. And you're working on anecdotes and more poetry. So writing is, for us, at least for those of us here, it's a whole lot of fun. And that's why we do it.
And now you want to tell us about your book?
Sure. I'm kind of proud of this little tiny cookbook. It's got very few words in it and not a whole lot of writing. But this is Southern Country Cooking, which was published by the Penfield Press in Iowa City, Iowa. And it represents some of the recipes that are special to the South and a number of them that are special to me.
What sort of books does Penfield Press publish?
They do, primarily they do ethnic, German and Scandinavian ethnic books. But they have reached out. This particular book is part of a series. There's 30 small cookbooks. You can see from the size from my hands that this is a very small book. It opens up. So there's sweet potato biscuits, which just happened to be the one that opened up. But it's a recipe card size book. They call it a stocking stuffer. And believe it or not, they have 30 of these books in the series. Would you, what should we do here? Shall I read a recipe? I could read a recipe. Huh? I've got one, I've got a recipe marked here. I was going to talk just for a second about and read this recipe. This is North Carolina roasted pecans. Try this recipe with filberts, walnuts, cashews, or almonds. Use your favorite nut. And these North Carolina roasted pecans are roasted in the oven, and they come out crunchy and highly flavored. Because you mix, what you do is you take, for a cup of pecans, you use garlic salt, lemon pepper, Worcestershire sauce, and butter. And then you roast them at 225 degrees for about an hour, until the pecans are browned into the center, browned through to the center. And then you've got one of the most delightful snacks. So pecans are just coming into season now. That's why I thought I would mention the roasted pecans.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about what we're doing. Do you have another book in the works right now?
I am. I'm not sure if I do or not. I'm working on a proposal for a book, and the book is. I have a title for it, but that doesn't mean that it's a book. The title is Grandma's Appalachian Cooking for Today's Kitchen. And while this book that I did here represents 13 states in the South and all the coastal regions, the one that I'm working on right now will be much more focused on our region here.
Eugene, are
Yes.
you working on a book?
Well, yeah, I have. Actually, I have a couple projects. One that's in my head that actually I've stewed on, and that's the way I found that I do. I'll get an idea and I'll think about it for Lord knows how long, years. I've got this, a year or so ago I had a medical condition which I needed a kidney transplant. And 2 or 3 years ago I read this book by Louis Grizzard, who's a humorist. And it was entitled, They Tore My Heart Out and Stomped a Sucker Flat. So I underwent this kidney procedure, and through that I figured, or I wanted to try to put out the procedure, lay it out in layman's terms and normal people's terms, and also try to include some of the funny stories from when I was growing up and some people in the area, and not to make fun of them, but yet just to bring them to life and show their caring and their warmness, and and try to make a little fun out of a kind of a bad situation. And that's the book that I have out now. Actually, that's in proposal form, and I actually am writing on it now. I'm fortunate enough to have a job that I can do a lot of writing and thinking. I've got that one, which is more imminent. I'm going to publish that. I've got the proposal out and submitted to several places, and if it doesn't get taken by a publisher, then I'm going to do it again. And with the help of Dr. Sohn here, I want to say that He's a little too modest. A lot of times he provides more than just an ISB, and he gives encouragement, and he's more than willing to be around. So he's a little modest. I want to say that.
That's true. We couldn't make it without Mark.
Yeah.
Chessie, what are you doing now? What kind of writing?
Well, I think mostly this summer all I've done is newspaper articles. And that, of course, is because of several things that have been happening in our family. But I'd like right now to thank Mark also for his help, because he's been a tremendous help to me and inspiration, along with Alice Kinder's help. But I also wanted to comment on the books. Is that all right? When I raised my two sons, it seemed as if I didn't have any problem raising them. I had, of course, quite a bit of problem, but I have a grandson now who's 17, and he got his license about 8 months ago. And you know, I've had to go back to this bookmark to find out. And I found out actually after I read about it that actually I was being a little hard on him. A little too much. So I thought I'd let you know that now. I was being a little too hard on him. And I sort of hang a little loose now. But I also want to comment on Eugene's book. I have two favorite ones in here, Eugene. One is The Black Hole, and the other is The Mountain Vine. And I think that's about kudzu, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
But recently, my grandson has lost his driver's license. And for a teenager, you know, that's terrible to lose your driver's license. So I have helped him to get him back. But I told him, I said, you know, there's an article in this book you should read about the black hole. And that's where we lose all these things.
Yes.
If it's not fountain pens at home, it's usually, he's losing his driver's license all the time. I don't know what we're going to do with it. But the books have been inspirational.
Well, thanks.
Now I know where all my socks go.
Yeah, right.
Can I follow up on that and read a little bit of The Black Hole?
Yeah, I like
Would that be an idea?
Yeah.
Huh? The Black Hole. This is from Eugene's book, Looking In. A black hole is an area in space that literally absorbs other matter. Allow me to explain further. After a star, such as our sun, burns out, it collapses. When it collapses, it becomes a mass. It becomes very dense. To illustrate, imagine that a cubic inch of this star could weigh many tons. When this happens, the gravitational pull becomes so great that it pulls everything within its range right into it. And so then what happens? Is this about losing things?
I guess it
Yes.
is, isn't it? That's
Yeah,
what I
it's
read.
about losing things, and
If you lose your billfold, your driver's license, or your car keys, you want to read The Black Hole.
the extra sock, you know, you pull out your socks and you have 4 or 5 different kinds of socks and no matches, so they're gone.
I have a whole drawer full
Yeah.
of socks that don't match.
I think every place has its own black hole. Your home has a black hole. Your workplace has a black hole. Your cars, trucks, boats, and everything. I guess those are places where you lose things,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
That's good.
Well, it's about time for us to go off the air. And before we do, I want to make an announcement. I'll read it from this paper so I won't forget anything. I'm going to be sending this around to the Pike and Floyd County schools. This is attention all Floyd and Pike County students in 7th through 12th grades. You are invited to participate in WPRG TV5's Writers Reading Poetry Contest. 2 winners from each county will receive $50 savings bonds. Runners-up receive $25 savings bonds. The divisions are 7th through 9th grades and 10th through 12th grades. All prizes will be awarded on the Writers Reading Show by Dr. Don Bevins. Prizes have been donated by Boyd County Coal Company of Pikeville, Kentucky. Poetry must be students' original work and may be of any style and length and on any topic of students' choosing. Submit entries to Ernestine Meade, Writers Reading, P.O. Box 543, Betsy Lane, Kentucky, 41605. All entries must be received by December 31st, 1993. Please type or write legibly and put your name, your school's name, and your grade on the entry. Entries cannot be returned. I'll repeat that address. It's Ernestine Mead, Writers Reading, P.O. Box 543, Betsy Lane, Kentucky, 41605. And we're really interested in getting your poems, so start working on them now and be sure they're in by December 31st. Now before we go off, I'd like to thank WPRG and Dr. Don for allowing us to come to you, and also my special guest today that I'm just really thrilled to have here, Dr. Mark Sohn, thank you, Eugene Sisco, thanks Eugene,
Thank you.
and Chessie Cornette. Chessie, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm really
Stand
glad to
back
have you.
now.
Do you think before we close, we should tell people where they could purchase these books, or did you
Okay, no,
want to do that?
yeah, that would be good. Well, my books are at Brooks Pharmacy, and I think Chessie's and Eugene's are there too. And at Betsy Lane, and I have some at IGA. I have some at the Bookworm in Prestonsburg, at Readmore Bookstore. What is it? Precious Moments?
Precious Memories.
Precious Memories. Pikeville
Precious
Drug.
Memories.
Okay, Pikeville Drug.
The 1st of May.
1st of May.
Right.
Food City.
Food City, right. Both food cities have some of different people's. Are there any other places that your books are? Jenny Wiley?
Jenny Wiley, Breaks of the
Jenny
Mountain.
Wiley.
Breaks of the
It's
Mountain.
a Pikeville College bookstore.
Pikeville College Bookstore, okay. These books can be purchased at these places. And there are some more that I'm not thinking of.
Natural Bridge took mine.
Natural Bridge,
Mhm.
okay. They're around in a lot of different places, so you can find them. And we hope you'll want to. And so thank you all. And until next week, may God bless you.